I'm going to show you how to create a graphic and have the text wrap around the graphic. Something you really can't do on a web page. So how you would do it for the web is most easily done in Illustrator, though you can do it in Photoshop. So here in Illustrator, I'm going to do a file and then choose new, and instead of print I'm going to choose web because that will change the resolution of the article. So I click OK. It opens up the article. Now I need some text and an image. So I'm going to collect some sample text and image so that you can see how it's done. To get my sample text, I've gone to Google and type a search word Ipsum. This is a plain old dummy text generating website. So I'm going to choose 3 paragraphs of dummy text and generate it. Now I've got my dummy text to put into the article. So I select it, choose copy, and now I go back to Illustrator and I'm going to select the text marquee and then paste it into Illustrator. So now I've pasted it into Illustrator. Now I need to bring in my image. So what I'm going to do is get a typical image just to show you how it's done. So what I've done here is I've gone to Google and I've just done a search for laptop. So I'm going to take this one as a particular one. So I'm going to save that picture locally onto my desktop and I'm going to call it laptop. Now I have my graphic locally. So it's on my desktop and I'm just going to drag it into my artwork here. So now you can see that my graphic is here and it's actually superimposed over the text. And you can see that I've moved the graphic over and you can see that it now is interfering with the text. So how do we deal with that? Well, let's take the image and we're going to arrange it and send it to the back. Now it's back behind the text. We're halfway there. So how can I make this text wrap around this image? How I do that is I'm going to open up the Layers palette and then take the laptop and the text that is, and then just take that text away for a moment to make it easier to work with. Now I'm going to select the pen marquee and draw around the laptop fairly tight. So you can see that I'm actually drawing a box, and for the sake of our efforts here I'm just going to, there we go. So now we've got our box. It's not perfect, so I'm going to take this corner right there and just move it up slightly. There we go. So now I take my image and I'm going to reverse the colors there. That way it's actually invisible. So now you can see that there is a box around that. So I'm going to select that one more time and reverse the information here and make that box actually completely clear. So now it's actually invisible. So now I'm going to bring back my text and I'm going to make the laptop invisible. Now the two things I have invisible are my box, which is over here, and my text, which is here. So now I'm going to make the text wrap around that invisible object. So I've got my object right about here. There we go. And then I'm going to hold down the Shift key and select the text. Now I've selected both of them. Now I choose Object, Text Wrap, and Make. Now you can see that the text is neatly wrapped around that invisible box. Now in the Layers palette, I turn back on the laptop. Now you can see that the laptop is still above the text, which we don't want. Take the laptop and put it on the bottom. There we go. Now you can see that the text is nicely wrapped around the laptop. Now to finish it off, you can see that the bottom text is kind of spaced out unnaturally there. So just select the text and then using your cursor you can move the text up so that it looks a little bit more natural. Now let's move it in a little bit closer. There we go. Now we're done. Now why would you want to do this? Well, you couldn't really do this on the web. Well, you could, but you'd have to use div tags, and it'd be very difficult to do, and the results don't appear consistent on different browsers. But if you're going to use text here, make sure that the text is the same font and the same size and the same spacing and line height as it is in the text for the rest of your paragraphs. If you can't quite get a match, then what you can do as a workaround is to draw a box around the article itself. And in that way, it sets it off a bit. Now let's reverse there. Now you've got a neat article with the box around it. That way, if you can't quite get the text exactly matched, then you can know that by setting it off just a little bit in a slightly different style, then you can still fit into your article reasonably well. So that's how to do text wrapping around an image using Illustrator. Now all you have left to do now is to export that image. So you do File, Save for Web, and when the dialog comes up to Save for Web, you save it. I would recommend a JPEG because of the colors in the graphic. Now it's a slightly bigger graphic, so I'm going to make that medium instead of high. Then you click Save, and then the dialog box that comes up, we're just going to call it Laptop and Text. That way when you insert it into your web page, you know what it is. So now just copy the document or the file over to your website in the images directory, and then put it into the web document using your favorite web development tool.